Take a look at a couple of problems dealing with marginal analysis. I've got two problems to work. One is marginal cost, and the other one is marginal revenue. So let's just look and see what these are first. It says marginal cost. If C of X is the total cost of producing X units of a commodity, then the marginal cost of producing X naught units is the derivative C prime of X naught, which approximates the additional cost C of X naught plus 1 minus C of X naught occurred when the level of production is increased by 1 unit from X naught to X naught plus 1. And then we have the same thing, marginal revenue and marginal profit. R of X is the revenue and P of X is the profit. Now, I mean, these are both similar to marginal cost. The marginal revenue is F prime of X naught, and it approximates R of X naught plus 1 minus R of X naught. And then the marginal profit is that's the derivative of the profit function, and it approximates P of X naught plus 1 minus P of X naught. It's the additional profit generated by producing one more unit. All right, so basically the marginal cost is that's the derivative of the cost function. The marginal revenue is the derivative of the revenue function, and the marginal profit is the derivative of the profit function. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first example here. So we've got a manufacturer's total cost of C of Q is equal to 0.1 Q to the third minus 0.5 Q squared plus 500 Q plus $200, where Q is the number of units produced. Use marginal analysis to estimate the cost of manufacturing the fourth unit. All right, so to do this, what we'll need to do is we will need to take the derivative of this cost function here. Okay, so we're going to take the derivative of this function. All right, so to do that, let's go ahead and find the derivative, C prime. So taking the derivative of this is just the power rule. So remember, the 3 comes down, so 3 times 0.1, that's 0.3, times Q squared, and then you subtract 1 from the exponent, minus, and then 2 times 0.5 is 1, so that's 1, and then Q, subtract 1 from the exponent, and then the derivative of 500Q is just 500. And then the derivative of 200 is 0. All right, so now to find the marginal, the marginal cost, well, that would be C prime, okay, we want to know the cost of producing the fourth unit. So we evaluate this at 3, not 4, but 3, because remember what this says. When we calculate it at C prime of X naught, you see that? C prime of X naught, okay? And in this case, X naught is 3, and X naught plus 1 is 4, okay? All right, because see, we're going from the third to the fourth unit. All right, so let's look at this. So we just plugged the 3 in, so that's 0.3 times 3 cubed minus 3 plus 500, and that will give us 499.70. All right, so we estimated the cost of manufacturing the fourth unit. All right, now, and this is part A, Now for part B, they want us to compute the actual cost of manufacturing the fourth unit. So for part B, well, that's C of 4 minus C of 3. Okay, so this is the total cost. So if we take the total cost of 4 units minus the total cost of 3 units, that'll leave us with just the total cost of that fourth unit. So we've got to do C of 4 minus C of 3. So this is going to be 0.1 times 4 cubed minus 0.5 times 4 squared plus 500 times 4 plus 200. And then that's going to be minus, and I'm going to come down here and finish this out. Now, when you do the minus, you've got to make sure this last part is all in parentheses because it's minus the whole thing. So that's going to be 0.1 times 3 cubed minus 0.5 times 3 squared plus 500 times 3 plus 200. Okay, so you would just punch this into your calculator, punch this into your calculator, and then do this minus this. And when you do that, you end up with $500.20. So you can see our estimate is not far off at all from the actual cost of manufacturing the fourth unit. All right, let's look at this next one here. All right, it says a manufacturer's total monthly revenue is R of Q is equal to 240Q minus 0.05 Q squared dollars when Q units are produced and sold during the month. Currently, the manufacturer is producing 80 units a month and is planning to increase the monthly output by 1. Use marginal analysis to estimate the additional revenue that will be generated by the production and sale of the 81st unit, and then use the revenue function to compute the actual additional revenue that will be generated by the production and sale of the 81st unit. So it's going to be similar to what we just did. So for part A, well, we've got what? The derivative, R prime of Q, is equal to 240 minus 0.05 minus 0.1 Q. The 2 times the 0.05 gives me the 0.1, subtract 1 from the exponent Q to the first. And then to calculate or to estimate the additional revenue from the sale of the 81st unit, we just simply evaluate the derivative at what? 80, not 81, but 80. So that's going to be 240 minus 0.1 times 80. And then when you punch that into your calculator, you get $232. Okay? And then it wants us to compute the actual revenue. So that's just going to be R of 81 minus R of 80. So we have to evaluate the revenue function, R up here. So that's going to be 240 times 81 minus 0.05 times 81 squared minus, and then don't forget, put this second part in parentheses, 240 times 80 minus 0.05 times 80 squared. And then when you put that into your calculator, you can put this part in, and then you can put this part in, and then do this minus this. Okay. So let's see, when you punch that into your calculator, you get 231.95. And that is your final answer. So this is really not bad. It's just a matter of, following the formulas and, what they give you. And, just taking the derivatives. You got to know how to do that. So hopefully this helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.